Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. I have gotten so many questions asking about volume control with the Toolmaster Pro, so we're going to talk about it. Alright, so I understand volume control is a big deal, so we're going to jump into it. I'm going to break it down so it makes sense and you have a greater understanding. But before I do, if you haven't heard, I do run a Patreon, and on Patreon we dive into, I have about 97 different guitar lessons published, and I just started doing webinars, where last night was the first one. We talked about Music Theory 101. What I am thinking about doing is every other week we change between songwriting techniques and Tonemaster Pro, or just tone building and songwriting in general. So if you're interested in doing what I'm about to show you in real time and having your questions answered in a private Q&A, consider checking it out. The link is below. You should also see on the screen some video footage of the different types of lessons that are published. So if that's something that you're interested in, please consider checking it out. All right, here's a preset that I built on a video a couple of weeks ago now. Today's guitar choice is my vintage 1984 Fender American Strat. Love this thing. Every now and then you got to just get into a Stratty mood. So let's talk about that. So one of the things that are characteristics of especially vintage instruments, your pickups aren't going to be as hot as, say, like an Alico 5 pickup or Active Fishman pickup. So instantly that's going to tell you whenever you're playing an instrument like a Strat, I've got to do some boosting somewhere. Either throwing a boost in your actual signal chain or doing some of the tricks I'm about to show you. So the first thing that I do when I create a new preset is I increase my preset volume. You can see on this one I've got it at 89%, but it really just depends on what I'm doing. See, this is a band rig, so a lot of the times I'm not like live streaming with this rig. So if I'm doing any type of live streaming, the thing I've got to be careful of is preset volumes. Most of the time in my live streams, it depends if I'm doing a backing track with a full band or if I'm playing with one of the guitarists from the band. So this is one area of control that I will yank down. If I'm way too loud in a live stream, I will pull this down to about 60 to 70, and really got to use your ears and blend it. On all of my presets using the Deluxe Reverb, which is my favorite amp of all time, the sweet spot for me is when the volume is in between 4 and 5. That's whenever you're getting like the really, really sweet tones, if I'm not using a volume boost, because this reacts the same way that, say, like a Plexi pedal does. I'll keep it here, but I'm going to make up for that by increasing my amp level. Now, what amp level does is say that, at volume 4 is not nearly as loud as volume 10. However, since we're in a digital world, this isn't going to react the same way that it will to an amp, because you can crank this at volume 10. Like, here, let me just turn off this overdrive. We're going to pull back volume to 50% so I can show you this. Now, here is just the amp. Now I'm going to increase this to 10. Notice something, the volume doesn't really change, but the way that this amp is being pushed does. So just like in real life, if I crank this, I'm going to be pushing these tubes and getting a lot of natural overdrive. So someone was asking like Stevie Ray Vaughan tones. What you want to do is you want to crank your volume on, I think he played a lot of at Princeton, but no matter what, just a Fender amp, crank the volume, and then control how loud the actual amp is with this amp level. So most of the time when I'm using a Deluxe, I don't want to use the natural overdriven tones. You can, it's completely up to you and what you like, but me personally, I don't. I like it to be a really good clean platform and to put pedals in front of it. This is how I use the analog one. But see, if I kept my amp level low, which I think the default is like something like, I wish Fender, like Jason, if you're watching this, one pain point that I have, it's not really a big deal, but it would just be so nice if there would be a way to control preset levels like this. So right now, I think the default when you pull it up, the amp volume is like pretty low. It's like in the 40s, sometimes in the 50s, depending on the amp model. I will start off by pushing it into the 70s and 80s, just so I get a really good full sound from it. Because now in the room, which you can't see, and maybe I'll see if I can get a photo up, but I've got my FR12 here, and I've got a head rush unit here, and I have the volume about a quarter of the way up. I don't want it to be too dang loud in my room, but I want to be able to get into some of that headspace on these units. So that's a great way. Now, once this volume is set up here, I control how much I'm sending to my interface, which is how you're hearing audio, and also how much I'm sending to my two floor units with the master mixer. I don't know. Let's see if I can get, yeah, it doesn't look like I can. So it's the actual hardware unit, or the actual hardware on the unit. Also, someone was asking me about setting presets for EQing. Someone was getting ready to do their first gig, so you can set presets for EQing. So like if I'm on a boomy PA system, yeah, I'm gonna. Oh, it crashed. Well, I'm gonna leave this in here so you can see it. But anyways, if I'm in a boomy PA system, one thing I will do is I will set up, this is called a low pass filter when you're setting this up. It basically, or a high pass filter. It basically will cut out a lot of that low end for you. Let's see if it'll crash again. Oh, that's a bug. All right, well, you've seen it first here. You've seen it here live, because I'm gonna leave it in here. I ain't gonna cut it out. But yeah, I'll do that. And you can also set different profiles. So if you're playing on like 3 or 4 different, maybe you're in a bunch of different bands, you can really dial in your Tone Master Pro to each one and then save it as a profile. I am not going to I'm not gonna do it, but I'll show you where you can. You come in here, set your EQ it, and then you can save it as your users and save it. You can also control EQing to each of your outputs. So lately, since I have 2 FR cabs, I'm running in stereo. So you can actually go in and EQ for each amp. You've got full control. Anyways, we're gonna keep this video kind of short. I hope this helps you out for those that have asked. And also the EQ thing, play around with it, because I had to do it one time when I was playing through an open mic, and my guitar, the tones that were coming from the Tone Master Pro through this PA system was just like so low and heavy that you couldn't really hear anything. So we had to do that on the fly, and that high pass filter really saved my butt. All right, well, hey, if you enjoyed the content, if you're interested in supporting the channel and also learning, consider checking out the Patreon. Link is in the bio. If you want any Tone Master Pro accessories, like I have the skins and the screen protector, there's a link in the bio as well of this video where you can get 20% off of all of those. So if you need it, use it, because I paid full price. I would have loved to get 20% off. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm grateful you're here. I hope that you let me know what you're grateful for in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next one.